Hi, and thanks for listening to Gossip with Celebrity, brought to you by Celebrity.com. This week, we're talking about Constance Wu, the Royals, and Game of Thrones. We don't have any spoilers for the Game of Thrones finale, but we do have spoilers up to episode 8.5. Our user question is about what we're looking for in a new writer, and we end with our weekly feature, the comments of the week. The stories, memes, and photos we talk about are at Celebrity.com/podcast under episode 18. Hi, I'm Katie, the founder and editor of Celebrity.com, and I write as Celebrity.
And I'm Chandra, the head writer for Celebrity, and I write as Kaiser.
So, I was...
Like, we're both in such weird headspaces right now and completely separate. I'm watching tennis scores right now, and you're thinking of something completely different.
I just woke up from a nap, which is good, because whenever I can have a nap, it's a good day. You know, I'm just like, I'll mellow after. Mm-hmm. I kept debating whether I was going to talk about this because it's so weird, but it's kind of funny too. I went to the OBGYN Monday, and he gave me Valium to put in my vag. Like, that's where...
No, it's not funny.
That's where you're supposed to put it.
It's not funny because I know you've been going through a lot with your vag. And when you told me that earlier this week, I was like, well, you know, why not? Why not just stick some Valium up there?
All right. He's such a good doctor. He gave me this article that he wrote. I didn't realize later that he actually wrote it, and it was published in one of those OBGYN journals. Like, it wasn't a big sciencey thing, but it was just about pelvic floor dysfunction and how that is the cause of a lot of pelvic pain, and it goes unnoticed. And I basically thought that meant that your muscles down there were weak, but they can also tense up, like your neck can tense up or like your back can tense up. And because I had that blah, 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 this is like so personal, but because I had that thing, that could be what's happening too. So I did it once and I was all zoned out from it. I don't know if it targeted those muscles. And I didn't do it last night, but I Googled it. It is so controversial. Half the doctors are like, no, that's crazy. And some of them say it works. So who knows?
Well, I mean, it's not like you're injecting heroin into your vag. It's just a little Valium. I feel like maybe your vag needs some Valium. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows?
That's what they do.
So yeah, like you'll never know until you try.
I don't know. I'm not going to do it unless I really need it, because it did make me super zoned out the next day. That's the thing they do for people. It's the rescue medicine for people who have epileptic seizures is Valium in the other delivery place there. And yeah, it is. So I figured it works. It probably just works by getting in your bloodstream, whatever. So, but that I also learned about that other thing. And if it's that, then I can do exercises and stuff for it. So that'd be cool too. We'll see, whatever.
All right.
So you have tennis. You're watching tennis to distract you from our new dystopia and how we're having all our rights taken away from us systematically.
Yeah, I mean, I have this very complicated thing that I just can't watch the news. I go through these very severe phases where I really just cannot watch the news. And I've been like that ever since the Mueller report came out. I need to have those self-care moments or weeks where I'm just not paying attention. And it's not that I don't care, it's that I care too much and I don't want to stress about it.
I haven't been watching the news in ages. Sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, I've just been really absorbed in tennis lately. Plus, tennis is really interesting right now. It's clay season and a lot of good players are out and about playing this week, and French Open is coming up. So it's exciting.
I just watch a ton of TV and Netflix and shows and pay attention to that, and that becomes my thing.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to watch the news either. It's
a lot.
It is something.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that I don't care. I care so deeply about reproductive rights. I don't want to focus on it right now because I can't. It hurts too much.
It does hurt.
It hurts to think about. We were talking about this earlier, that it is like the Me Too stories. You can only take so much of them. And it's not that you don't want to be a witness to what these women have gone through. It's just that it costs you something to be a good listener and to care about all this stuff.
It feels so personal. It feels so deep. It
is
feels
personal. It's our autonomy as women being taken away.
Yeah. And it's basic healthcare too. This is not us killing babies. This is us having autonomy over our own bodies and making personal healthcare decisions with the help of our doctors.
Right.
This is abhorrent what's happening in our country. And this was the end game with getting that rapist on the Supreme Court and paying off his debts, whoever did that.
Yep. And Hillary said that. She said that in 2016. She said, this is about abortion. This is about the Supreme Court. She was always so straightforward talking about reproductive rights. And she didn't get enough credit for that. She didn't get enough credit for a lot of things.
Credit for anything.
Yeah.
Because she's a woman.
Right. But let's move on to lighter things, please.
Okay, we will. And that's our job, and that's why we enjoy our job. So we were going to talk about Constance Wu. She was on Crazy Rich Asians, and she's on Fresh Off the Boat. That was just renewed for a 6th season, and she kind of shot herself in the foot over that. First, she commented dislike. She didn't push the down arrow because there is no down arrow on Instagram. She just wrote dislike. On the ABC Instagram announcing this. She tweeted, "So upset now I'm literally crying, fuck." And then when someone congratulated her and said it was great news, she said, "No, it's not." Like that is that's not just one dislike or one I'm crying and you don't know the context. She made it extremely clear.
Yeah. I mean, and this was not like you said, it wasn't just one random comment of immediate reaction and a tweet and delete. She left that stuff up there for hours. I think some of it is still even up there.
Yeah.
Then after that, she wrote this completely absurd explanation. Like we were personally mad at her for saying the word fuck a bunch of times. No, that's not why we were mad.
Yes.
We were mad because you were really unprofessional and bratty.
And the way she described it was so up her own ass. Mm-hmm. She said she wanted more challenges in her career. But of course she likes being on that show because playing her character is fun and easy and pleasant. And she wrote that a couple times, like she was putting it down for being too pedestrian for her. And at the end, she said, "Oh, it's meaningful when you make the choice to believe women." What does you being bitchy about keeping your job have anything to do? You don't use that for that.
Right. And she's acting like believe women is about acting bratty about your job. Believe women is believe women when they talk about being assaulted and harassed. She wasn't talking about any of that. She was talking about how she didn't want to do her cushy network job, which has made her minor fortune. You know how many actors would love to have a network job?
There's that. I mean, at first I was willing to give her the benefit of the doubt because we have heard some horrible things about TV shows, but that's not the case from what everyone's saying and judging by the way she reacted.
Right. She never said anything about, ABC is a bad place to work or this show is very unpleasant. She didn't say any of that. She doesn't want to do a 6th season because she wants to move on and do other things. That's it. And instead of just working that out with the network, working that out with the producers, she decided to publicly slam her show. It's so unprofessional.
And she had to know people were going to see that. I get being pissed off at having to stay somewhere where you're not happy or are unfulfilled, but then work it out behind the scenes.
Right.
Or just bitch to your friends.
Right.
And don't make it public. So then Gemma Chan, who was on Crazy Rich Asians with her, liked another tweet that said that Constance Wu's conduct is not a surprise to anyone who has worked with her. She has a reputation for being rude, petty, mean-spirited, and ungrateful.
Yeah, Gemma didn't tweet that. She just liked that tweet.
She just liked it. That's right. Yes.
And she later said it was just an accidental like. I was surprised by how many people were like, "Oh, I've done that before." Yeah, but you can easily unlike something, as soon as you hit it. You're like, "Oh, never."
I have done that. Sorry, go ahead.
But, I mean, it was so clearly, like, she didn't even say, oh, no, Constance is one of my good friends. No, she didn't say any of that.
Ooh, that is a good point. She didn't defend her. She just said, oh, I didn't exactly mean to do that.
Yeah.
Right? That is a good point. She could have done that. And then...
the latest story today was that it was just a typical Page 6 hit job. Constance is a total diva. She's out diva-ing J-Lo and Cardi B. This was on the set of Hustlers, and they're filming in New York, so of course Page 6 is all over it. As I said in that post, if this was just a random report in Page 6 with no other context, I would say, oh, it's probably bullshit. But coming on the heels of Constance's little bratty hissy fit, I totally believe it. I totally believe that she's a total pill to work with.
I could see her being that way. Everyone is talking about Lainey's coverage of it and how Lainey said some people are just really super serious at their jobs. And there is that, but then don't talk smack about your job.
Yeah. People who are really serious about their jobs don't act that unprofessionally over and over again, you know?
Yeah. And she could have gotten help with that apology and actually sounded sorry.
Yeah.
But that just dug it a lot deeper. That was like, okay, we get it.
You know what it really reminded me of? Remember, this was years ago when Ariana Grande was still a total brat and she got caught licking donuts.
Donut licking. Yes.
And she had to issue like 2 different apologies because her publicist must have gone to her and said, little girl, your first apology sucked. And it did. I remember that her first apology was like about how America is fat.
I remember that too.
She threw a tantrum about it and then she like had to apologize again. That's what the Constance thing reminds me of. Her publicist was probably calling her like, for God's sake, you know, walk this shit back. And she was like, believe women. No.
Believe you that you were mad you couldn't get a movie or something.
Exactly.
So she also wore Marchesa to the Met Gala and went with Georgina Chapman. I kind of gave her a break when I covered that because that was, of course, before this latest thing. But anybody willing to publicly align themselves with Georgina Chapman now has to have some of that obstinacy and I don't care and it's all about me.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the Georgina Chapman thing is so complicated and I have such mixed feelings about all of it. Obviously, Chapman has Anna Wintour's approval.
Oh, okay.
Anna gave her like that big comeback profile in Vogue last year, I think.
Yeah.
So obviously Chapman is still trying to like have some kind of comeback. But yeah, it was definitely weird that Constance Wu was the one that Georgina chose, or maybe that was chosen for her. I don't know. It was definitely a weird statement for both of them, I think.
Scarlett Johansson wore Marchesa.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, she wore it, one of the first women to step out in Marchesa. And
Scarlett defended Georgina in that Vogue article.
Yeah. Chrissy Teigen has worn it. A few celebrities have, so I shouldn't just target her. Although that just says something to me about somebody, their willingness to do that. I mean, we know her brand was built on intimidation by her husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it her fault or not? Who knows? And then I was looking through a couple old interviews that Constance Wu did, and I found one of her on Colbert on The Late Show describing how she got the job on Crazy Rich Asians. She almost didn't get it because it was going to happen when Fresh Off the Boat was filming. So here's that clip.
I had read one of the books, and I had heard that it was going to be made into a movie, and so I was like really psyched, and I really wanted to do it. Then it didn't happen for a few years, and then I got my TV show Fresh Off the Boat, and then I heard that Jon M was signed on to direct it, and I got really excited because he's an amazing director, and I thought he could do a great job. We had a meeting about it, and then we realized I couldn't do it because the schedule...
Oh, because you had your series.
Yeah, because they wanted to shoot in the fall.
Yeah.
And my series shoots in the fall.
TV time.
So I just let that go. And then one day I was on an airplane and was feeling very dramatic. And I wrote a dramatic email about like all the heart that I would put into his movie if he just waited for me. I didn't think it would work. But here I am.
So she really, I mean, the way she described it, I was on a plane. I was feeling very dramatic. I wrote this dramatic email. I'm pretty sure I had heard about that a while ago. I didn't remember it until I saw it in this interview again now. And she probably feels the same way about whatever other projects she had to give up. And she made it public last time, so she's making it public again that she's upset that she can't be in movies.
Once again, that's the kind of thing that you work out behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You remember when George Clooney was on ER and he kept getting movie offers, and all he did was go to the producers of ER, go to the network and say, can you help me work this out? It'll be good for ER if I do this movie. All I need is help with the schedule. And television shows still do that. They still work with their stars because they know that their star becoming a movie star is good for the show.
That's a good point too. Ooh, and the guy who plays her husband on Fresh Off the Boat is going to be in this new Netflix rom-com that I just watched the trailer for that looks freaking adorable.
Yeah, I keep seeing the ads for that. Yeah,
I finally watched it. Do you know about the ending of the trailer?
No.
It's got Keanu Reeves in it. I'm like, spoiler.
Hi, baby.
I missed your flesh.
I missed your thighs.
I missed your beard scratching my thighs.
I missed your taste.
I missed your thumbs. You're so good with your thumbs.
It looks really funny and cute. So, and it's Netflix, so everybody's going to watch it. That's coming out at the end of the month.
All right. That's enough about Constance Wu.
Yeah. This week was kind of slow, but it was good because we really needed that.
Yeah. Last week was intense. All right. So we've seen baby Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor. Good Lord, that name is such a mouthful.
How do you remember? I didn't even write it down for us. How do you remember that baby's name?
Well, Archie Harrison is easy to remember because it's so weird. And then Mountbatten Windsor is the last name of all the royals. So
okay. Do you get that if you marry too? Like, is it Meghan Mountbatten Windsor?
Well, I guess technically she is Meghan Mountbatten Windsor, but because she has the title Duchess of Sussex, I think people would call her Meghan Sussex. I don't know, though. The whole idea of royalty is that you're not supposed to use a last name.
Oh, so you become like a one-name person.
Yeah, you just become Prince or Duchess or whatever.
Title, yeah.
Anyway, so I just totally zoned out there. I'm sorry. I was like thinking.
You were looking at tennis. You're looking at tennis.
I was not. I was like just staring off into space thinking about royalty.
I want to be known as one name person.
I know.
Someday.
I was like,
that would be like so awesome, like Oprah. Everybody knows me.
All right. So one of the royal stories this week was Meghan posting an Instagram for Mother's Day. And first of all, we're just full on saying now that Meghan is posting to Instagram because she totally is. She is running the Instagram account.
She is.
So she posted this photo of Archie Harrison's baby feet and
her hands.
Yeah, and her hand, and in the background were forget-me-nots, which was Diana's favorite flower. So it was like this very evocative, beautiful, like tribute to both Harry's dead mother and this new life on Mother's Day. And it was very touching, I thought.
I like how you phrase that. That was nice.
And he's got little baby feet. And we talked about this on a previous podcast of whether or not Meghan would be the kind of person who would post baby feet or baby hands on her Instagram.
Yeah.
And I thought she would not be that kind of person, but you were right. She is that kind of person.
I just brought it up as a possibility. I had to re-listen to it. That was podcast number 13 where we talked about that. But we were hoping that wouldn't be the first baby photo.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
So we didn't mind.
Yeah. As long as it wasn't the first photo, it was fine, I thought.
Because we saw that baby already.
Yep. And he's a cutie from what we saw. He seems to have Harry's little nose, although Harry and Meghan have a similar nose. And we want to talk about the name a little bit more because there's also a story that there were like Archies all around both Harry and Meghan. One of Harry's very good friends is named Archer and he goes by Archie. And so a lot of people thought that Harry could have named his baby after his very good friend, which is could be. But the story I loved was that Meghan and Doria had a cat named Archie. I loved that. And apparently Meghan just adored this cat. And I was like, well, of course she would name her baby after her cat.
That's very cute. Again, though, it's a cat name, not a people name.
Well,
but
yeah, I mean, I feel very strongly that you really shouldn't give pets superhuman names. I don't get naming your dog Isabella.
My brother, he and his girlfriend, their dog had puppies, and he named one of the puppies Katie. He did. So then he could like yell at it in front of me and be like, Katie, come here.
That bugs. No.
Yeah, it's my brother. That's him.
You know who's good at naming puppies and cats and whatever? The Queen. The Queen gives good animal names.
Her corgis.
Yeah, she names her corgis and her little dogs stuff like Prancer and Dancer and Cookie and, stuff like that. Those are good animal names. Don't name your cat Kathleen.
Oh, my brother.
Anyway, so that's a whole thing about cat names. If Meghan named her baby after her cat, so be it.
That's cute.
I understand that. And of course, the royal reporters are still freaking out about every little thing regarding the baby presentation and whether or not Gayle King visited Meghan and Harry before she gave birth.
So there's going to be some kind of documentary about them airing?
Gayle King at CBS is doing a documentary about the wedding, I think. And then there's probably going to be a little bit about the baby too, since Meghan gave birth before the first anniversary.
And everybody was so salty that she invited an American outlet, and they were mad about Gayle King for some reason, air quotes.
Yeah, obviously Meghan is an American woman. She has relationships with American media figures, and I think that's it. And especially the fact that Gayle King is a black woman. That has absolutely ruined the white royal reporters who see themselves as the gatekeepers to all things involving royal information. Of course, they would authorize an American outlet to be there for the whole baby presentation thing. I don't know.
And Harry has that relationship with Oprah, and Gayle King is Oprah's best friend.
Right.
They all kind of know each other and are doing projects together.
But yeah, the royal reporters are just going apeshit constantly. I'm not sure if that's the right word to use, but
it sells papers. It does get more. Yeah, it sells papers.
All right. And obviously, you want to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just like banging these out.
I wish we could talk more about the royal baby, but we didn't get much this week.
Yeah, they're really, and she's going to be on maternity leave for a while. The next time we see her will probably be the Trooping the Color, the Queen's birthday, and that's the second Sunday in June. So, a little while away. But that'll be nice to see her.
Okay, nice.
And that's about it.
Okay.
All right, another big story this week. Once again, we're recording this on Thursday, the Thursday before the Game of Thrones finale. Even though there have been some really, really great moments of this last season, there have been too many absolutely horrible moments of bad writing, bad cinematography, bad character development. Oh, yeah. So we'll have spoilers up to the second to last one. So if you haven't seen the finale yet, don't worry. We're just talking about the one before that. I watched it the next night after it aired, and I was really disappointed. The really good thing about it was some of the hand-to-hand combat scenes were kind of awesome. It had some really excellent violent scenes, but it carried on too long. It was too much of that. Just to be specific, you're talking about the episode The Bells, which is 8.5. Yes. Thanks for helping with that. And it's the siege of King's Landing. And Daenerys comes riding in on Drogon. She burns the shit out of everything. And then she waits, and everyone's kind of holding their breath, and the Lannister forces surrender. And then Daenerys hears the bells, and she's like, fuck this noise. And she just decides to fucking burn half of King's Landing down and ride off to the Red Keep to burn the shit out of Cersei. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, burn the shit out of Cersei. I didn't understand why she like had to burn all the streets, but Mad Queen Daenerys, whatever.
It was painted in a much different way than the men who were doing the combat. And that is a consistent theme we've heard and we've seen this season. It's just the female characters are not given the same amount of credit. They're not given the same noble motivations as the men. And yeah, it's a real problem with this show. I'm really sick of white men running everything and dictating what our entertainment is going to be. I really am. That's all I'm gonna...
Well, I mean, it's not so much that David Benioff and Dan Weiss are so like overwhelmingly misogynistic. I don't think they are. I think they're somewhat sexist, especially in their use of tropes with their female characters. Absolutely, they're sexist. I don't think they're raging misogynists, though. But I mostly think that they're just fucking lazy. They didn't care enough about this last season to do it properly.
There was this photo. I should have looked at it again. There was this drawing of a horse on, did you see this on Twitter? Where the horse's ass is like perfectly drawn and the horse encompasses the different seasons of Game of Thrones, and the ass is perfectly drawn up to like season 4, and then it gets a little sketchy, and then at the end it looks like a stick drawing of a horse's face. and that's the latest season. It's this half-assed thing. I don't think they're raging misogynists either. Their biases come through in their writing and how they portray women. And we saw Grey Worm avenge, how do you say her name? Missandei?
Missandei. That's how I say it.
We saw him avenge her death by killing a soldier who had already put his sword down, and that had a kind of noble badassery to it where you could tell his motivation. And then when Daenerys did it, it was all rage and anger, and oh my gosh, there were so many scenes of the innocent people she killed and what they were going through. And it just...
The thing about it is that I kept thinking about everything that had led up to Daenerys's, turn to the Mad Queen. It does feel earned in some sense because bad shit kept happening to her. She kept losing all of these people that she truly loved, like Jorah and Missandei. And I think Missandei's beheading and her last word of Dracarys, I think that was it. I really did feel like Missandei's ghost really like haunted that whole episode. I kept saying that, but I really did. Like Missandei looked at her queen and said, "Burn this shit down," and her queen followed through.
She did it. Yeah, it's a show. I don't have a I mean, we've seen worse,
And just to play devil's advocate, say Daenerys had accepted surrender from the Lannister forces and she hadn't burned all those civilians, what would have happened next? Would Cersei have left the Red Keep willingly? Would she have?
Probably not. Who knows?
And would all those people who had survived, would they second guess Daenerys 20 million times because they think that she's a soft touch who won't go in for the kill when she has the chance? I don't know. It sucks to be a woman, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jaime finds her. He would have found her. He was on that. Who was he fighting hand-to-hand combat on the beach?
Euron
Greyjoy. Yeah. That was so dumb.
Yeah.
And then he goes and finds her, and they die together in the rubble. Come on. That's some...
It was so unsatisfying for fans. And that was the one where my mom called me and she was like, I cannot believe that they killed Cersei that way. That, they didn't give everyone a chance to like really revel in her death. It actually felt like Dan Weiss and Benioff, they wanted us to feel sorry for Cersei and Jaime. Like, they gave them the heroic music, the sad music, like we were actually supposed to mourn them. No.
Don't let me die, Jaime. Please don't let me die. Please don't let me die.
Look at me.
I don't like this. Not like this. Not like this.
Look me in the eye. Don't look away. Don't look. Look at me. Just look at me. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Only us.
Cersei has been an absolute psychopath. Cersei has been terrible. She's a terrible queen.
No, who cares about them? Yeah, I don't even know. I'm probably not going to watch it live next week. I'll probably just fast forward and read your recap. I can't. I'm glad I gave up on this show, because if I cared more, I would be even more angry about what they did to their characters.
I'm actually not angry. I feel like if there's one thing that this abbreviated season has given me, it's that I give less of a shit now that we're at the finale. I'm like, yeah, kill them all, burn them all. See if I care, you know. I want to see the direwolf survive. I kind of want Arya to survive. That's about it. Tormund, maybe.
I want Arya to survive. I want Sansa to survive.
I couldn't give a shit. If Sansa dies, fine.
I just think she's cool. I don't know enough about her in the past few seasons, but I think she's cool. But I wouldn't care if Jon Snow died. I don't care.
I kind of feel like at least one of them has to survive. Sansa, Arya, or Jon. One of them, at least.
Let's move on to the user feedback and questions. Diplomanatee commented in our last podcast post. They said, awesome podcast, and they've been meaning to tell you, Kaiser, your laughter is super contagious. I can't help but laugh with you, even before you say what's making you laugh. And that is true. It does make me laugh, too.
A lot of people are talking about my laugh lately, and I think it's because you keep on using my laugh in all of the previews and the videos that you put on Twitter. And it usually sounds disconnected from whatever we were talking about. But anyway, yeah.
But it's so cute. I can't help but use it. But last time I just put the whole YouTube video up because I figured it would get us more listens to the podcast and people would stick around. So Becks1, who is a frequent commenter on our site, she said on our last podcast post that she's glad you don't really cover reality TV. I don't watch any of those shows, and I hate when gossip sites are plastered in updates from Vanderpump Rules or whatever. Those are easy things to cover if the people watch them and follow those storylines. But yeah, we don't bother.
I totally probably should have covered the Kelly Ripa ripping into the Bachelorette thing.
I considered covering that too, but I was like,
Yeah, at the end of the day, I was like, no, do I really care? No.
And also her complicity with her co-host.
Oh, Ryan Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest is an abusive piece of shit.
Yeah, he is.
And I'm pretty sure that kind of boys network at E is probably why Busy Phillips' show didn't last. I'm sure that there's a lot of dudes making decisions, protecting each other, making sure women get paid less and men get more opportunities.
Well, it's ridiculous that Busy Phillips couldn't get renewed or she got canceled, and that Chelsea Handler fucking lasted on E for what, like 6 or 7 years? That's ridiculous.
6 or 7 years. Busy's show is actually good. She's making a lot of headway. She gets so many celebrities on her show. It's funny and cute.
People genuinely like her. People genuinely like Busy, and no one liked Chelsea Handler.
Chelsea is nasty. She's not funny.
Yeah. And she somehow lasted on the network. You know why? Because she was boning the president.
Yeah, and she had protection that way. And then she dumped them when she got whatever. But yeah, Busy really, I hope she gets picked up by somebody else. She really grew on me. I didn't want to like her. And then I watched it a few times. I'm like, oh, she just doesn't give a shit. You know, she wears little baby doll dresses with giant poofy sleeves. And she's like, hi. And she's herself. So a few people asked on Twitter what we're looking for in writers, and we didn't answer that because we weren't looking for anybody at the time. We are looking for somebody now. It would just be for 2 posts a night. We'd be writing overnight, U.S. time zones, whatever time zone you're in. And it does pay, but it's not a lot. This would just be like a side job for somebody. We're looking for someone who likes to talk about celebrities, pop culture, and gossip. You must, of course, be very liberal like us. familiar with our format and our viewpoints. And if you love TV and movies, that's great. So we're looking for diverse viewpoints, people with writing experience if possible. So if you're interested, send us samples of your work to info@celebrity.com, or you can write a new post for us to show us how you would cover something.
It would be a great job for like a part-time stay-at-home mom, something like that. I think that would be ideal. Yeah,
part-time student, something like that, or somebody who has time at night. It's not going to pay all your bills, but it'll give you some experience. And then let us know the name used to comment on the site. If you're comfortable with it, let us know your Twitter or Instagram. That's not a requirement, of course. And let us also know your favorite celebrities and your favorite TV shows, because that's great too. And that's a way that can help us know what you'd like to cover and what's good to cover. All right.
Where can they submit that?
Oh, to info@celebrity.com, or they can, just comment on the podcast post. And no, they shouldn't, because then I'll have to get their email. Just email me.
All right. You want to do comments of the week?
Okay, let's move on to the comments of the week. I have a funny comment of the week on the Game of Thrones needs new writers post. Lady D said, Disney, this is true. The first part is totally true, which makes me not want to watch these movies. Disney has hired them to write the next 3 Star Wars movies. They might as well hire Depp to star in them too.
Yeah. And just as a side note, I know this is not what we've been talking about at all. Kathleen Kennedy is in charge of the Star Wars franchise now. I know it's making billions of dollars.
Yeah.
But she makes such bad decisions, and she hires every white bro that she comes across. She's not giving any women, any minorities, any kind of chance. Anyway.
Well, J.J. Abrams did a good job. I mean, I like his directorial style, and even though he's a white dude, he's good at hiring diverse cast.
Yeah, JJ kind of set the tone in general for the Star Wars sequels.
Yeah, he's done okay.
But Kathleen Kennedy, yeah, she hired JJ, I'm pretty sure. But like, she's in charge for the Solo debacle. And
that was bad,
the huge amount of drama that went into the one with Felicity, what's her name?
Rogue One?
Yeah, Rogue One, that's what it was.
Okay.
Kathleen Kennedy is like just hiring white dudes, and they're not even qualified half the time. Anyway. All right. Well, my comment of the week was from the post about Lori Loughlin. Yeah, whose like latest People magazine story is that she was watching the Felicity Huffman plea deal very carefully because she wants to make sure that she doesn't get treated differently as someone very famous. And the comment from Alissa was, girlfriend thinks she's a lot more famous than she is. Like, no one is watching Full House or Fuller House for Aunt Becky. It's very true.
It is true. And what you wrote on the post, too, she's fired off of Hallmark Channel. It's not like she's got a lot going on now. And she was wearing that shirt that said, I do what I like.
Oh, that was an old photo.
Okay, I was like hoping it was new.
No, I was shady for using it because I liked the photo for the shirt. But yeah, she wore that before. She was outed as, a big fraud.
Oh, man. It was so on brand for her, though. I was hoping All right. Thanks for listening, bitches.
Thanks, bitches.
Thank you for listening to the Celebrity Podcast. If you could please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or your platform of choice, it will really help us, and we appreciate it a lot. You can call us and leave a voicemail at 434-218-3219. Our website is celebrity.com, and we're also on Twitter under that handle and on Instagram as Celebrity Official. Thanks again.